Hi all, welcome to Graphics Desk.
In this video, we'll see how to draw an isometric projections of the given object. Now here I have origin is mentioned here in the front view, and the same origin is located here in the top view. We have a hole of diameter 40 mm to its main body, and what we can see is that this is the slanting face, which is tapered down to 30 mm on the left hand side. So as this is the origin, we'll start with this thing. Now the tricky part in this whole problem would be how to draw this particular face of the object, which is neither parallel to any of the axis x or y or z. But we'll see how to construct this thing. So let me start with our usual process of drawing a straight horizontal line, and then I'll measure 30 degrees, and 90 degrees on this line to locate x, y, and z axis. So this is what our x, y, z axis. Now the origin is given here, and the geometry extends along this line on front view is 100 mm, which means along x this will be 100 mm. That's the maximum extent of this geometry would be, and the vertically it is 60 mm from the origin, which means in z direction it will be 60 mm. And also on the y direction it is 20 plus 20 plus 20, which is 60 mm in the y direction. So let's look at first the base of it and from where we'll start. So this is given as 30 plus 70. I'll draw here. Now I'm drawing only the line from this point because this is a surface boundary of the object, I would say. This is only for reference for now, and we'll use it later. But I have marked these points 30 mm and 70 mm. Now as we have seen, the vertical extent of the object is 60 mm, which means 60 mm from this point, which we have located here, we have to measure 60 mm. Now let's build this face first. For this, what we want is 40 mm in this direction, which is in x direction, but in the direction of origin. So we'll measure 40 mm from this point and 30 mm above, and then we'll complete this face, which is visible in front view. Now, even though we have not given this dimension, we managed to locate this point and this point on this face. So when we connect these 2 points, even though we don't have dimensions of it, it will be a straight line. Though it will not appear as what distance it is shown here, but again it will be a straight line. So let's draw that. So with that, we have completed this face, which is visible here. Now what we have here is on the y-axis, if we go, we have 20 mm, 20 mm gap of 20 mm, and then 20 mm again the part of the object. So we'll locate these 20 mm, 20 mm, and 20 mm on y-axis, and we'll construct this part of this face of it. Now, this point or this edge which is shown as point in the front view is parallel to these lines that we have seen, but it is 30 mm above point origin. So let's look at 30 mm, which we have already, and we'll draw a line parallel to this from this point. And when we draw lines from these points parallel to z-axis, we'll get these two faces and a gap in between. So this is how the part of the object which should be visible in the side view is like this. Now it is not fully complete, but we'll get to it later. Now as we have this line which we have already located here, we'll first construct the top part of it, which is again a simple rectangle of 40 by 60, because 60 mm is the length and 40 mm is the width, which means in the y direction we have to go 60 mm and in the x direction we have 40 mm. So let's build the face over here. We already have 40 mm available here. We'll measure 60 mm in this direction and then we'll draw a line which will become a rectangle here. Now this is the top face which is visible in the top view here. Okay, so this is the face. The line which is which is in the top view would be parallel to the same line, which means to this line it will be parallel and eventually meeting to this point. And also these lines, this gap what we have or a slot that we have would also be parallel to these lines, but we right now don't know to what is the extent of it. That means where this particular face would lie. So we'll draw a faint line right now and then we'll construct the solid lines. Now as this distance is given as 30 mm, which means this face, which is represented as line in front view, and this hidden face, which is again represented as dotted line in front view, are 30 mm apart. Now we have already located 30 mm over here, which means what we'll have to do is we'll have to take this projection parallel to z-axis on this line, and any line from this point parallel to this would be the solid part of it, which means this particular line would be marked over here. So let's do that. So this line is, or I would say this is the plane. This particular plane is 30 mm at distance from these two planes. Okay, which means now this line would be a solid line, so as this line and this line connecting to this one. So let me draw that. Now with this we have built this face completely, which you can see it's 40 mm from here, and then it is slanting slant from this point, it is sloping until this point. So this is that face, and these two lines would also be solid. Now we have constructed the whole part of this object. What we have here is we have one hole, which is a through hole, as the dotted line extends from the in the top view as from the top to bottom. This is a through hole. Now this hole is located at 40 mm from this particular face and 30 mm above the base of the object. So let's locate the center first, and then we'll draw the circle. So 30 mm in z direction, and from this plane, it is from this edge, it is 40 mm along x, what is the direction of origin. So this is the center of the circle that we want to draw here, which is basically the circle as part of the hole on this face. So as usual construction, I have two lines which is parallel to x and parallel to z passing through the center. I have to draw a line parallel to y passing through the center. So I have located the center, and we have drawn all the three lines that are passing through the center. Now the diameter is given as 540, which means 20 mm as radius. Keeping this as center, will intersect on all these 6 points. Now remember, this is a full circle, so we have to construct the arrangement that we need to draw this circle. Now this circle has the axis which is in the front view going inside the diagram, which means the axis is basically parallel to y-axis. Axis of the hole is parallel to y-axis, which means on this line. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to connect this point with these two and this point with these two, which will get an intersection between in this section and one intersecting point in this section. And then with this being the radius, we have to draw the larger arc here. This being the radius, we have to draw larger arc here, and the small arcs will have this center and this being the radius. So let's draw these lines first. This point connecting to these 2 points, this point connecting to these two. Okay, as we only need the intersecting point, I have not drawn the complete lines, but these are the centers for the smaller arc. So let me draw the larger arcs first, and then we'll go to the smaller ones. This is how the circle would look like, which is essentially a hole or a hole on this particular face. Now, though this is a through circle, we don't have to worry about the other circle which is on this particular face, which is on this face. The reason for that is the depth of the object is 60 mm. The depth of the object is 60 mm, and our construction or the other part of the hole would certainly not be visible here. So this is what is, this face is complete, I would say. Now, we are almost done with the drawing of this particular object, but there are a few things, as I keep on mentioning, for you to have a complete feel of this object, there are certain lines which are essential to be drawn, because if you see the lines that are visible through this slot, we need to draw, otherwise this will not be a complete or a clear representation of the object. So what we have here is, we have this line, this particular face is this one, but it is not complete. So there will be a line parallel to x passing through this point, and there will be a line vertically from this point, and we'll see where it meets. If it meets behind this particular or beyond this line and this line, we don't have to draw it, but otherwise we'll get a corner also. So let's see if where exactly those lines would go and possibly meet. So this complete face has the corner at this point, which is behind this object, so we don't have to worry about it. But this line and this line until it touches to this point or these lines is essential to draw. Now the line that I have created here is no longer required, and this is how the final object will look like. Thank you for watching this video. We at Graphics Desk committed to spread the knowledge. Be a part of this journey, share this video and spread the knowledge. Until next time, bye.